Hello and welcome to the Chapter 2 podcast. On the last section of Chapter 2, which is Section 9, and we're going to do some basic organic chemistry here. Alkanes are the simplest organic compound. These are hydrocarbons, which are basically carbons connected to four other things. In other words, they're always connected via single covalent bonds, for those of you who know what those are. The simplest alkanes are ones you probably heard of before. We have methane, which is CH4. This is the structural formula. There's the ball and stick model. Methane is natural gas. This is the gas that flows through your homes to heat them, although you're probably not using heat right now, and also for your burners on your stove. Ethane is C2H6, so it's two carbons and hydrogens, and we also have propane, which is C3H8. Propane is used for sometimes, so those of you who have grills or camping grills where you fill up your little tanks of propane. And then butane is used for lighters and for little torches used in cooking and stuff. Alkanes always end in A-N-E, and the naming system for alkanes and other organic compounds are completely different than binary molecular compounds. So this is why these names don't match up to dicarbon hexahydride or anything crazy like that. Alkanes can be modified in many different ways through the addition of functional groups. So basically you can take one of the H's, you can remove the bond and then replace it with something else. The most common one are alcohols. This is where we use hydroxides in place of an H. And adding this OH group or adding any functional group will change the property of the alkane. Okay, and we can use numbering systems to indicate where the hydroxide is. So for instance, 1-propanol, this is basically propane, right? And when we add an alcohol, the propane becomes propanol, so we add the OL. And 1-propanol versus 2-propanol, notice where the OH group is. And as a result, depending on where we put the OH group, it'll slightly change the properties of the hydrocarbons. So even though these would have the same chemical formula, the position of the OH group would change the properties. So there would be a difference we could measure between 1-propanol versus 2-propanol. And we'll get a more thorough overview of this stuff a little later in the course.